So, do you guys know who Alan, what's his name? Alan Richardson is?
Yeah, we've seen Reacher season 1.
Yeah, this guy right here. Hold on, let me show you a picture just to confirm. Hold on. Elena probably doesn't know his name, but she'll probably recognize his muscles.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I like him a lot. This guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, he's a Christian. He's a Christian who happens to be an actor. I don't like to ever call like people like a Christian actor, because when you say things like that, it implies that they only do like Christian movies, right? Or if you're a Christian rapper, that means that you only make Christian rap music. Like, I like to think there's like they are a rapper that happens to be a Christian, or he's an actor that's also a Christian. He's not a Christian actor where he's predominantly only doing one genre of performance, right? So he's an actor. He's also a Christian, and he plays the role Reacher in the Amazon Prime TV series Reacher, based off the movie Jack Reacher that Tom Cruise plays, right?
Well, that's all based off a series of books.
Yes. So Alan has been getting a lot of crap from Christians. Yeah.
Okay.
He's been getting crap from Christians about the role that he plays in the show Reacher. Like, they're saying, like, if you're a real Christian, you shouldn't be playing a role like that. Let me show you. Let me play what he has right here. Here we go.
I love playing Reacher. I love telling this story. I love playing a character who creates a kind of moral ambiguity that we should struggle against as we consider whether or not what he's doing is good all the time or morally right. I think that kind of thing is fun and fascinating, and I think escaping to that world as an audience, hopefully it's as enjoyable for you as it is for me to help bring it to life. But it's funny to me how a lot of people criticize me, supposed Christians especially, criticize me for playing Reacher, as if the only TV that should exist is seeing people silently folding their hands in the pew of a church. I mean, what kind of stories are we supposed to tell? If you look at Scripture, what do you find? You see 1,000 years of an infinitely holy God holding tension with human beings as he tells the story of who he is, reveals who he is through an imperfect people. So we get stories of paganism and a war and bloodshed and ghost stories, mysticism. We see miracles and magic, and we see life and resurrection and death, and we see this incredible canvas where God is completely unafraid to tell the story of who he is through less than morally ambiguous characters, through pure evil sometimes. So I think it's laughable when people criticize me for playing characters that are not like saintly. That's not my job, and I don't think God cares about only telling those kinds of stories. I think we can start conversations and we can reach people through these mediums in a way that I think God enjoys. And so here we are now, where we can get to the heart of the matter, where God has built a platform because of this show for me, where I can reach people who maybe don't think about these things all the time. And maybe for those who are struggling or feel lost or want to try something new, they can find something that brings them hope, like my faith has mine.
He's been getting a lot of flack because basically people are saying, well, dude, you're a Christian. Why are you playing that character? Why are you playing that role? As if, like, just because he's Christian, that means he shouldn't take that role. Do I think one's faith should or does or can play a role in the career that an individual decides to take? Well, yeah. I think if you're a Christian, you're probably most likely not going to be a drug dealer. Or if you're a Christian, you're really not going to be a stripper or a porn star.
Well,
right?
There are those girls.
Well, yeah.
Well, ideally, right?
Yeah. So that doesn't. So that means. So I mean, obviously, your faith will determine or can influence the career you choose to go down, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean it, because if you're an actor and you're a Christian, that you should avoid roles that don't mirror Jesus's character because you're a badass buff guy that beats up people, or doesn't play by the law, but you do it for good reasons. Like, because you play that character and you're a Christian, you shouldn't be playing. I don't know.
Well, I think you said something key in there, and it's, does the role give me the ability to have conversations?
Yeah.
Because do you okay, so everyone knows that Jim Caviezel played Christ in The Passion of the Christ, right?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, oh, he did. And
I
there,
know.
and he's a Catholic, right? And he's a devout Catholic.
Yep.
Okay. Did you also know that he played in a TV show that I personally really enjoyed? Maybe it wasn't that popular, called Person of Interest.
Oh yeah. Yes, I do. I love that show.
It's a fantastic show. I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
I'm a tech guy to start with, and they get so much right in that show. As a tech guy, it was fun to watch, but he kills a lot of people in that show.
Yes, he does.
Are we trying to say now that because he's a Catholic and and Christian, and that we profess do not murder, that he should not take that role? Is that what we're trying to say now? Because there were a lot of choices in that show where you could tell that he's dealing with the moral ambiguity of having, do you trust this computer that can supposedly predict this, these futures? There's a lot of really interesting conversations that fell out of that show.
Yeah, it's almost like, okay, what about this? Like, let's say they are doing a movie about Jesus, right, and his disciples.
Mm-hmm.
So the character that gets casted for Judas, right? What if he happens to be a Christian? Should he not play that role? Judas, the betrayer, the one that turns Jesus in for some silver.
I would be honored to play that role as if I were a Christian. I think it's a very important role to play in the story.
I don't think my faith should determine whether or not I play that role.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, if it doesn't go against my convictions, right? Like, okay, for me, like when I do films and when I've done films, I never wanted to play. I don't want to play any gay characters. I don't promote that lifestyle whatsoever. I don't want a gay scene at all. Not happening. Right.
Sure.
Also, I don't really like playing any characters that is where a person of faith is abusing their power. Like, so like I would never want to play a role of like a pastor or a priest taking advantage of somebody. You know what I'm saying? I never want to play that role either, or a cop in that position taking advantage of somebody. I just don't want to ever play those roles, right? Personally. Now, will I play a murderer? Yeah. Will I play a drug addict? Yeah. Will I play a gangster? Yeah, sure, no problem. Like, these, I have a look, for one, so I get typecast. So two, it's like I'm okay with the storyline because I'm telling a story. I'm doing my part in telling a story. I'm not like promoting or platforming or celebrating this lifestyle that my character is playing, or that I'm playing in my character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping tell a story.
There are no good stories without the bad guys.
It's not just the films that you see it. You see it everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. This is what makes it worse, right? So there's this Christian rapper named Lecrae, right?
Mm-hmm.
And great guy. He tried to make like a movie, I think, at one point, and they were like supposed to play like role of like some gangsters or something like that, and like you see them with a cigarette in their mouth and take it out of their mouth, and like this, but it's never lit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't ever see him actually lighting the cigarette, or even smoking anything, or like the bottles are in paper bags, so you don't even know, like they have them inside with paper bags, so you're inside the house with a paper bag over your bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? Nobody does that. Nobody does that.
Not me.
They do that outside, yeah, but they don't do that inside. But like they did it so much, like, to where they didn't do anything bad, really, but they gave the impression that it's supposed to be. It looks so cheesy. It was the worst depiction. They wouldn't even curse. They were like, dang it, man, if that, like they would never even actually say the word, like it was like the most censored, bleeped out, real movie ever. And I was just like, this movie sucks.
Well, it's trying to follow the form, the aesthetic of Christianity.
Yes,
right?
and I was like, well, that's not authentic.
Yeah.
People watch
Yeah.
movies for authenticity.
Yes.
What makes movies real is the authenticity that is displayed in it. So if you can't play that role because you don't like, you don't do whatever, or you're not comfortable doing that, then fine, you hire somebody that will do it so that your movie could be done correctly.
Mhm.
Well, it's like when I see a movie about Marines, I don't expect them to be, I expect them to be foul mouthed because soldiers in combat are foul. I, and I look at that
What
and
are
I
you
go,
going to say? How dare you?
well, but see, in combat, I expect it's a land of extreme pressure, extreme emotion. Okay,
Mhm.
he dropped an F bomb. Yeah, he's got literal bombs going off next to him. What
Yeah,
you
but we
worried
we
about his
say we
language?
say dumb shit all the time. Like if you're military, you have learned some new ways to curse. And trust me, you didn't learn them in the heat of the battle. You didn't learn them like while shit was going on. No, you learned
Mhm.
them when you were bored and your lieutenant or your senior officers in front of you calling your names. Like yeah.
Well, but I guess my point is that I know, even if I've never been in combat, I know that combat is intense, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
to get that authentic feel of combat, you're gonna have to sit through some intense stuff, and there's gonna be dudes swearing in the middle of that. It's like we know you don't have to lie to us. You don't have to
Yeah.
withhold those things from us.
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, I just don't think that they should be giving him crap for playing a role that it really is not a bad role. What does he do? What did he do wrong? And I mean, he did kill somebody, but didn't the guy deserve it?
Well, yes, he kills people, but it's not like he's not doing it gratuitously.
Well, one. How many people did he kill in Reacher? I'm trying to remember.
It's more than one. It was a
Yeah,
few,
and it
but
wasn't until the end either. Like that
yeah,
final scene in the warehouse.
right. It was mostly a detective story. Like he's trying to figure
Yeah,
out what's
and
going
it
on.
was like really like there was no nudity in there. I don't remember seeing any nudity in that show.
There was not.
And like he ended up like hooking up or getting with like the chick, but it looks like they're dating, like they're in a relationship. So he didn't like just like smash and go. Um, let's see what
Are
else.
you talking about season one?
Yeah.
Well, I'd hesitate to call that even a relationship because he basically tells her at the end that he's leaving, and she
Well,
is.
yeah, but like they established like a working relationship first.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
like, and like she knew that like he wasn't gonna stick around either, though.
yeah,
Like he wasn't like he just like hit it and quit it. Like they kind of understood the arrangement. Like if he comes back, he'll be back, and she'll be
yeah.
there. And if he's not, what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like he was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna manipulate this chick and get some booty and leave." Like he wasn't doing it in the malicious way. Now, did they fornicate? And should they have done that? No, not biblically. But like, is that what we're gonna really go off on him about?
Well, but the Reacher character doesn't establish himself as a Christian.
No, he doesn't. But he doesn't not establish himself as a Christian either. No.
Sure, but that why did then we have to assume that we have to hold the character to
Well, I guess
Christian
I guess
standards?
that those that know that he's a Christian are probably going to assume that his character would behave like a Christian. Well, what does that mean though? What does behaving like a Christian mean? Because I know a
Well,
lot of Christians that cheated on their wives. I know a lot of Christians that have done drugs. I have known a lot of Christians that have stolen things or stolen money. Shoot, there's a lot of pastors that have had, what was it, 40% of pastors admitted to be, having some type of affair, whether it's emotional or physical.
how many Christians have filed for divorce?
Exactly. So there's a when you say like behave like a Christian, what does that mean? You know what I
Well,
think it
anymore
means?
it means behave like the rest of the secular world.
Well, honestly, what I think it means is to fail, but to seek God for repentance and try not to do it anymore. It just means that that you're screwing up and you're trying to, live right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I think it means. It doesn't mean that, you're better than the non-Christian. It doesn't mean that you're not going to, behave like the non-Christians. It means you're going to do your best not to. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're going to be perfect. So I think it's stupid. Like, let's face it. They're just hating on the dude because he's a good actor.
Mhm.
He looks in better shape. I bet you the people that are hating about him, I bet you it's a fat pastor. a fat pastor who is out of shape, saying to him that, young man, you are full of pride and vanity. You out there taking off your shirt, showing the girls your pectoral muscles and your six-pack abs, and that's lust. You are causing lust, young man. There's no difference between you and the OnlyFans girls.
Okay, Glenn, you do that entirely too well.
But I'm pretty sure like that's probably where he's getting this hate from. And I'm just like, man, do your thing, man. Like, God knows your heart.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up though.
Yeah.
Do I think there's anything wrong with his role, him playing that role? I don't think so. I don't think his character is like, he's not whoring around with a bunch of women and and doing anything like a whole bunch of sex scenes. I think it's fine there. We don't see him doing no drugs and like graping anybody or doing anything like that. We don't see any of that behavior whatsoever. I don't have a problem with his role. Just because he's not, a priest or a pastor in this character, and he's not like saving people and sprinkling holy water on them and telling everybody about hell and the damnation that they're going to get if they don't change their ways. That doesn't mean he's a bad actor or he should be playing a different role. I think it's stupid. He's not playing a gay character. He's not blaspheming God, and he's not banging a whole bunch of chicks and doing a whole bunch of bad things. What's wrong with his role? Why can't he play it? Leave him alone. You guys are just jealous that he's actually making more money and enjoying what he's doing, and you're sitting there watching him enjoy what he's doing while you're complaining about your life.
I'll say it. Let Alan act.
Seriously. Russia Queen, what do you say?
I agree with you guys. I agree with you.
Well, of course she does. She wants to see the next season.
Well, yeah, she's like, I need him to take off his shirt. I think he has the bleeding in his chest. I think. Let's see the blood. Oh yes.
I love a good story. I actually
I love a
don't
good
mind.
six pack. I do too.
Okay, Elena, just stop digging.
Like Elena's only here for one thing. She's only here for this.
Shame this horse. Shame this horse.
And she's not referring to men. She's only referring to women that take off their clothes. She's not talking about men that take off their clothes.
Shame this horse.
I'm not even talking about good women. There are a few.
She's only talking about women that get naked. She doesn't complain about guys getting naked. You guys notice that?